Hello, this is Jenny here. In the previous video, we have already seen about the general idea about UGC NET Economics. So in this video, we'll be discussing about the syllabus pattern asked for UGC NET. Before moving to the preparation of any exam, you must have an idea about what the syllabus is, right? Your preparation should be related to the syllabus pattern. Here in this video, we'll be discussing about each subtopic of economics and what questions you can expect for UGC NET. So the first topic is microeconomics. So for the economics part, we know that we have two parts, part 1 and part 2. In part 2, we have completely economics as the subject paper. So here we have 100 questions, and most of the questions from these 100 questions will be from micro and macro. So we have to give more importance to these two sessions. Under microeconomics, we have general topics like demand and supply, and apart from that, we have production function, law of variable proportions, law of returns to scale. Like that, we have different laws. So we have to understand the basic concepts of all these theories. Because before you study any theory, you have to understand the concepts, then only you will be able to answer the questions from the exam. When we see about the production functions, we have mainly CDS and CES production function. So the questions regarding Cobb-Douglas production function and CES production function is very common. And under demand analysis also, we have price elasticity and income elasticity, cross elasticity. Like that, we have different concepts, different types of elasticities, which is also very important for the examination. Another important topic that we have under microeconomics is risk and uncertainty. Also, the recent developments in economic theory is also very important under microeconomics. Welfare economics also holds a very important role under micro, because welfare economics theories are somewhat questions are asked from these theories recently. Similarly, asymmetric information holds also a very important position under microeconomics, because in the previous 2 to 3 years, the questions has been repeatedly asked from welfare as well as asymmetric information. Managerial theories are also very much important in the case of microeconomics. Another important part which is asked under microeconomics is game theory, because the basic concepts about game theory is some questions that has been repeatedly asked for the past few years. So this is all the important topics that comes under microeconomics. Then moving to macroeconomics, we have the basic concept, that is national income. So you must know all the basic formulas that comes under national income, which is very important, like GDP, NNP, GNP, etc. Then the very basic part is the classical and Keynesian model, which is also very important. The difference between these two models is usually asked, and you have to know the concept also. Then we have the consumption function and the hypothesis and the theories based on that. We have life cycle hypothesis, we have absolute income hypothesis, permanent income hypothesis. And when you study these theories, the one thing that you have to keep in mind is that you have to know which person bought that or who introduced these theories and in which year, because usually the questions will be asked like match the following. You have to know the theory as well as the person who has introduced that. Also, the year is important, because sometimes the chronological order of all these theories will be asked. Chronological order is something that has been recently asked in the question paper, because in the past 2 to 3 years, the chronological order under every subtopic is getting asked. So you have to know which theory comes first, and after that which theory follows. That kind of an idea should be there. Then we have demand for money, that is Tobin's demand for money, Friedman's demand for money. That all is also very important. Along with that, we have accelerator and multiplier. The problem questions will be asked from this part, because this is a very important as well as a very easy part, because the questions asked from this are mainly problems. Then the important part is the ISLM model. What are the changes that takes place in the ISLM model? That is also very important, because even the graphical questions can be asked from the ISLM model. Then we have inflation, different types of inflation, business cycles, then rational expectation model. All these, even investment theories, all these theories are very, very important, because in macroeconomics, direct questions are not generally asked. Usually the questions will be from the concept based, so you have to know the general idea, then only you will be able to answer the question properly, because the 4 options given in the question might be somewhat similar, so we have to choose the most appropriate option. So that is very, very important. Next we have the development economics. So usually, as I told you, we have 100 questions for economics, and under that 14 to 15 questions will be from development economics. And in my opinion, development economics is a part where you can easily score the marks, because the questions mainly asked will be from the theory side, and also the questions asked has been repeatedly asked. For example, the growth as well as the development concepts is very, very important, like the PQLI, HDI, multi-dimensional poverty index, like that. We have different kinds of indexes, and the different factors that affects these indexes are also very, very important. And along with that, what you have to note is, in the coming years, okay, what will happen to the Indian economy, that is, what is the position of India in the past few years and in the present also. You have to know that. For example, if I'm saying about the multi-dimensional poverty index, we have to know what is the position of India in this year, on the last year, on sometimes it can be asked in the previous years, sometimes this present year can also be asked. So questions like that, when you're studying about some index, you have to know about the position of our country as well. Then the basic concepts that we have is the development concepts, like we have different theories, classical theories as well as modern theories. We have balanced, unbalanced growth. Harrod-Dommer model is something that has been repeatedly asked, the different types of growth, and under Harrod-Dommer model. Then we have critical minimum effort thesis. Then we have Rostow stages of growth. Rostow stages of growth is also a very important and repeatedly asked part. Then we have technical progress and dependency theories, and along with that, poverty and inequality is also very important. When you study about poverty, we have different committees, and what is the method of measuring poverty, this is also very, very important. Then we have inequality, and what are the different measures and graphical measures, and other than graphical measures, what kind of methods we have regarding measuring inequality is also very, very important. So this is all about development economics. So if you study all these part, I'm sure you will be able to score most of the questions asked from this part. Even though more question is asked from development economics, I'm pretty sure that if you study these theories, you will be able to score at least 90% of the questions asked from this session. Then we have Indian economy. So Indian economy, I think it is a very wide topic as compared to the other subtopics, because Indian economy, most of the questions asked will be something connected with the general situation, like what is the current status of our Indian economy, and what are the different new updates that is related to our economy. That is also very important, because we have to get updated with the recent news. And also you have to study before the independence period, that is pre-independence period and post-independence period, until now what is the status of the Indian economy is very, very important. And also what are the new trends that has been developed in the economy is also important. So for that you have to get updated with the recent news. Different acts as well as the sector-wise changes is also very important, like what happens in the agricultural sector, what happens in the industrial sector, and what happens in the service sector, what has happened and what is happening now. That is also very important. So the sector-wise changes that is taking place in an economy is also very important. The latest schemes that has been introduced under our government, the acts that has been introduced under the government is also one important thing that you have to note under Indian economy. So this is all about Indian economy. It is a very wide topic. You can't expect what kind of questions you will get for Indian economy. But I hope if you are getting updated with the news and with the acts and schemes, you will be able to answer somewhat most of the questions from Indian economy. Next we have public finance. In public finance, I think the most important and the relevant topic under public finance is the type of goods, because mostly the questions has been repeatedly asked from this session, that is what are the different types of goods and what are the features of this goods, like public good, and what are the features, like whether it is non-rivalrous or rivalrous, like that kind of questions has been repeatedly asked. So that is one important thing that you have to note under public finance. Then about the market externality is also very, very important. Along with that, Coase theorem and environmental standards is also very important. Then the different acts that comes under the public finance is also important, like the FRBM Act, and along with that, budget is also a very important topic, because there are different types of budgets and what the difference between these budgets, like for example, gender budget is something some concept that has been asked continuously for some years. So different kinds of budgets and the features of these budgets, and about the public expenditure and public revenue, all these things are very important. Different types of taxes, okay, and what are the features of these different types of taxes is also one important part that you have to note under public finance. Then moving to international economics. International economics is also a very important subject that you have to keep in mind while studying economics, because international economics we have a wide range of topics to cover, but the most important thing is the general trade concepts that we know. That is, you have to study about IMF and World Bank. You have to know about the trade barriers, that is tariff barriers as well as non-tariff barriers. Then you have to know about the exchange market, that is arbitrage and hedging, and the different types of markets. This is also very important under international economics. So the complete concept under the foreign exchange market is the most important part under this part. Heckscher-Ohlin theory is also one of the most important theorems, and along with that we have to study the classical theory and the changes that has been taken place, that is the comparative advantage, absolute advantage, and who introduced these theorems. All these things are very important, because some questions from this theorems is a sure question that you can expect from international economics, and also concepts like dumping, anti-dumping, and that also comes under trade barriers. So these are the basic concepts that you have to know under international economics. The most important part in economics is statistics, because in the previous NET examination, most of the questions, that is around 60% of the questions were from statistics. And the thing that you have to note under statistics is that also under paper 1, that is the research methodology that comes under paper 1 is related to statistics. And not only for qualifying your NET examination, even after you qualify your NET or JRF, while doing your research thesis, you must have an idea about statistics. That is very, very important, because these are some of the basic things that is important for your research. Under statistics, you have to know the basic concept of statistics, and descriptive statistics you have to know, that is mean, median, mode, and what are the formulas for calculating that. Then you have regression and correlation, which is very, very important. What are the features of that? The problem side from regression and correlation are just simple, because if you just practice previous 5-year question paper, you'll get an idea about how the problems are asked from this session. So regression and correlation is also one important part that you have to understand here. Then under research methodology also, you might have studied the different sampling techniques. This is also a very, very, very important part, because you have probability and non-probability, random and non-random sampling, and what are the different kinds of that, and what are the different types of random sampling we do, non-random, like that. Each and every part is very, very important. Each and every type of research is also very important. Then we have hypothesis testing, which is also a very important part, because we have different types of tests like Z-test, F-test, T-test, and we have type 1 error, type 2 error. So what is the difference between these three? What are these used for is also a very important part. This is what you have to concentrate more upon, because questions that you can expect from statistics is like these areas are very much you can be sure about. Then under econometrics, usually in the previous, before like 5 years, 5 to 6 years, econometrics was not a very important one. But in the, when I noticed the question papers of past 4 to 5 years, what I've noticed is that questions from econometrics have been asked, and so the importance of econometrics is increasing, and the questions asked from this part has also been increasing in the last few years. So under econometrics, what you have to mainly note is OLS, that is ordinary least square method, and the different types, that is the heteroscedasticity, autocorrelation, and multicollinearity, and what tests are used to identify these. All this is very, very important. And most probably the questions from econometrics that is asked in econometrics is mainly from the test, that is which test is used to identify which error or problem. This is the most questions that is asked from econometrics, and mostly that has been matched the following. So you have to know the test name and for what purpose it has been used. Then we have identification, then forecasting, time series analysis. All these are also another important topics that has to be covered under econometrics. Then we have mathematical economics. So if you understand the concept of microeconomics, I'm pretty sure that you will be able to do the mathematical economics, because mathematical economics are mainly the problems that you have to do based on microeconomics. So if you understand the concepts that you have studied in microeconomics, I'm pretty sure that you will be able to do the problems under mathematical economics. Here mainly the questions will be profit maximization, cost minimization, that is based on calculus. The problems that is a sure question, because every year one question has been asked from the calculus part. It can either be profit maximization, cost minimization, or it can be consumer surplus. So the questions from this part is very, very important. You can be like 90 to 95% you can be sure that questions will be asked from this session. And also another important part here is the elasticity. That is questions from price elasticity, cross elasticity, income elasticity has also been continuously asked. Another important topic under mathematical economics is matrix and also linear programming. Matrix, the problem side will be to find the determinant or sometimes the properties of matrices is important. And linear programming questions, problem questions are usually not asked under linear programming. Usually they'll be asking the theoretical part from that. I have not so far seen so many questions asked from this part, so you just study the theoretical part and the basic concept of linear programming. Then we have money and banking. So this is also somewhat related to macroeconomics, because some concepts in macroeconomics is related to this topic. So under money supply and banking, this is also a very important part, because you can be almost 100% you can be sure that questions from this topic will be asked, because money and banking is so much important in sense that you have studied about different types of money and what are the difference between these, and the money supply, about the bank, commercial banks, reserve bank, what are the functions of these, and different types like M1, M2, M3 and M4 questions have been continuously asked from this part. And high powered money, these are the important topics that comes under that. And also the financial instruments like the capital market, money market, what is the difference between these, and different types of banks and when they were introduced. All these are the important topics that you can expect from money and banking. The last topic is demography and environment. So in the previous years, questions from this part has been asked continuously, because this is also one of the important part. 4 to 5 questions you can expect from demography and environment. Population and demography, you have to be updated with the current latest trends also, because what has happened in the last census and what are the demographical state, that is the infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, literacy rate, etc. So you have to get updated with that also. And similarly in environment also, you have to be updated with the latest news that has been occurring in different parts of the country, and also international news is also something related to environment. So and also the course theorem, property rights are another two important topics from which the environmental questions are asked. So this is a general idea about demography and environment. So we have discussed about the syllabus pattern in this video, about what type of questions or what areas that you have to cover under the UGC NET Economics. So I hope it is clear to you. So whenever you are preparing for an exam, always try to study the concepts and then move on, because even though if it is an objective question paper, if you don't know the concept, you will not be able to answer it, because all the four options will be somewhat similar and you have to select the most appropriate one. So the options will be confusing. So only if you study the syllabus properly, when you make your preparation syllabus oriented, then only you will be able to score good marks and under NET examination, or you'll be able to qualify NET and JRF. So that is all for today. In the coming video, we'll be discussing about the preparation strategy. Until then, signing off. Thank you.